Yo, 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 welcome back to Riot, Language of the Unheard. I'm your host, Ryan C. Sanders, and lecturer. I just want to jump right into chapter 4, accepting what is. All right. What are we talking about? What do you mean accept what is? All this craziness going on in the world, and you want me to accept it? Well, I guess first, like climbing a rungs on a ladder, we need to express some ideas first before we can accept what is. It comes from a basic knowledge of accepting what happens, things that are totally out of your control. All right. We're talking about things that it seems like the universe is talking to you through these things. If you can be attuned and be awakened in that way. Okay. So accepting what is more than just, oh, I'm supposed to just roll over and take everything that happens to me. No, of course not. It's really more in the sense of what the word is actually means. It's a right now word. It's a present word. So it's really literally meaning accepting the present moment as it is, without adding the mind drama, the mind clutter, all of the other things that adds to what's going on in our current life. We literally can just have a train of thought where we just accept what is and move on to the next thing, because really you're in control of all of that. And I mean, I believe so, right? So in my humble opinion, one of the main hindrances to accepting what is deciding to do so. It's literally a decision away. It's one thought away. Again, you find TFA in every element of these chapters. Thoughts plus feelings equal action. If you say, I can't do that, that's not me, that's not my nature. Well, what is nature except that which you nurture? You said it's your nature, but it's a practiced behavior that has become your nature, but it's really what you nurture over time. So what you put in comes out, if that makes sense. Where attention goes, energy flows. So we really have to be mindful of our mindset and our attention and what's actually going on during that process of us thinking. Okay, so another point I wanted to make: what you sacrifice when you can't tell the difference between accepting what is versus resisting what happened is your sanity. You literally can lose your natural born mind by not realizing that what's out of your control is literally out of your control. You can only control what you're responsible for. Oh, it's a beautiful word there. Look at this. If you're able to respond to it, then it's your response ability. All right, I'll say it again. If you're able to respond, it's your responsibility. All right, a lot of things you're just not able to respond to. And most things that you are able to respond to, you can choose how to respond very, very consciously or unconsciously. It's totally up to you, right? So what acceptance does, in my humble opinion, is allows a person to see without judgment and respect without clarification. You don't always have to have the answers to everything. And most things you won't have the answers to. So being able to respect another's divinity in reference to what happened. Obviously, we want to jump to extreme cases, rape and murder and all this kind of stuff, which is you deal with that moment when it comes. But the only thing you can actually do is deal with the right now moment, the present moment, the isness of every situation. And you decide how you're going to deal with that, right? So there's nothing wrong with respecting the divinity of another individual, like I mentioned earlier. Literally respect the fact that it happened, whatever it is. Once you back that up with what we call God is in control of everything that happens to us, what's stopping us from looking at it as a lesson needed to be learned versus resistance that I'm facing? I'm facing resistance or an evil that is resisting me personally. Your thinking allows that process. It's all about how you're thinking and how you're processing your thoughts. All right. And it's really that simple. It's not that easy, but it is that simple. All right. So in our society, we suffer from we have a lot of false dichotomies, in my humble opinion. One of which we believe that the acceptance of a thing, whatever that thing is the same thing as agreeing with that same thing. Because you accept something, don't mean you have to agree with it. And the power of that knowledge is that When someone's behaving unfavorably in any way, to accept them in their moment, in their emotion, in whatever they're in. To accept them does not mean you agree with it, but you accept them. And sometimes just in that humble acceptance of another individual will calm them down, will change the whole process in which they're using to act out at this moment. So, just try to think about that a little bit. The essence of true change is freedom from negativity, actually. It's not the life situation that's causing the drama. It is your reaction to the life situation and the endless mind chatter that follows behind it. All right. Once we can really just calm down, breathe, and go into within oneself, we begin to see that the power, the answers, everything is within you already. And you don't really have to reach so much outside and get clarification from other people or other sources, because you know what's in you, and you know that you're the responsible for that thought process. So happiness, in my humble opinion, is truly the enjoyment of life. Happiness. If you're not happy in this moment, what's stopping you? What's stopping you from being happy right now? And as you listen to the list, you'll find most of it has nothing to do with you per se. It's your reaction to the situation that you're facing. So like Wayne Dyer says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at have a tendency to change. And that's really what we're after, right? At least I am. Hopefully you are too. Okay. All right. So when asked, who are you? What comes to mind? Just take a second, think about that. If somebody asks you, who are you? Please don't say your name, because you are not your name. You're not any of the titles you like to prescribe yourself to. I'm a Christian, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a Hindu. That's a psychological philosophy that you decided to link up with, but that's not who you are. So you can only define who you are. And if you don't know who you are, people will voluntarily tell you who they think you are. And this is where a lot of us gets lost in people's opinions. All right. You can only be an R. When I say who are you, you can only be the R in the moment. You decide who that is. That could be happy, mad, frustrated, sad, elated, innovative, contemplative, manipulative, debative, instantaneous, acting like an Iranian, whatever. It's all good. But we're really trying to decide what it is we want to do, what it is we want to say, and what it is we want to accomplish within ourselves and our own little personal goals. So the choice is actually yours. So to cap that up, to accept what is literally being present in the right now moment, respecting the divinity of whatever it is that's coming your way, get the lesson out of it, and move on. That simple. All right. Now, this next little part we're going to go into sex versus romance. There's so many different ways and areas to go into this particular subject. People have a lot of different ideas of love, romance, and sex. So I'll probably do that segment another time in a whole nother breakdown right now. But I just want to touch on a few things right now that we all can kind of agree on. As children, we're taught the ropes of relationship in a song. I don't know if y'all remember this. When you was younger, it says, such and such, sitting in a tree. Kissing. First came love, then came marriage, then came a baby in the baby carriage. Yay! We didn't realize what we were doing. We didn't realize what we were singing. But it was giving us the platform of what relationships is supposed to be about. First came love, then came marriage, then came a baby in a baby carriage. We know that has all kind of different segments of actually happening. But sex sells, right? But what is romance worth? Sex sells, but what is romance worth? We kind of forgot about that word, courting and romance and wooing a person. It seems like we use romance kind of like a vehicle to sex instead of, we sound like we basically use sex as a vehicle to romance as opposed to the opposite way. It's supposed to be use romance as a vehicle, and then you find a beautiful sex life. But it's so backwards in this day and time. So we just got to kind of focus and realign ourselves. There is something to be said for wanting or to get to know a person before you commit to a lifestyle of marriage. Because that's really what sex is. It's really a joining of two lives where people get to copulate and create and build and develop during that energy. You start to find different variances when you're dealing with different energies, female to female, male to male. Not to say right or wrong, but thinking makes everything so. But our life is depicted by the decisions that we make. And when we're dealing with sex, it's an energy that a lot of us are not ready for. We don't really have any idea what we're doing. Okay. There's something to be, like I said, there's a lot that happens with sex that many people are not aware of. Okay. There's like soul ties. What is your soul? Your soul is a conglomeration of your intellect, your emotions, and your will. That what you think, feel, and want. Again, all in one. You have soul ties. You have emotional unstableness. Again, emotion is energy. E stands for energy, and motion stands for in motion. So whether that be kinetic or potential energy, it's all in motion. Okay, you decide what you're doing. So then you also get these feelings of unwarranted entitlement. Because you have sex with a person, there's a sense of entitlement to this person. And this is how that heart gets so destroyed, because you have this false sense of entitlement, but the relationship doesn't sustain that particular flow of the relationship. So you end up stuck or lost or hurt, manipulated, devised, all these other terms that locks us in. So, really understand what it is we're doing and not fall victim to a lot of different influences that are guiding the way we think and what we think about when it comes to sex, okay? Let's not follow the media influences and establish our own idea of what love means to you personally. That says a lot when you can do that. We want to minimize the language of the unheard, by people rioting and screaming and fighting and yelling and speaking out harshly. We really want to go within and find a deeper part of ourselves, a higher self, versus the lower self that we so instantly like to run to. Okay, sex is a powerful force that, when used correctly, has the ability to change the course of your whole life. Use the energy wisely, please. All right. In this course study, we will go over the platform of sexuality and perhaps how to apply that energy properly. We'll listen to maybe a little Cartoli this time, just breaking stuff down. Byron Katie, of course, she's always a favorite to you understanding yourself. All right. So, guys, that's about it. Let's not be so influenced. Let's just be more encouraged and stand on your own platform to be able to do what you need to do for you. All right. Again, thank you for joining Chapter 4 of Riot, Language of the Unheard. Chapter 5 is the final chapter. Then we're going to have fun, guys. We're going to go into that one really deep, processing pain, processing shame. We're going to really get through some things. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I love you always. Be loved. Y'all be good. Bye-bye now.